Nature's Pickins.
The place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Nature's Pickins.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Michelle Higbee from Nature's Pickins, located on 464 Connellsville Street in Uniontown. The phone number at the store is 724-438-4211. That's 724-438-4211. Phone number at the show today is 724-438-4593. 724-438-4593. If you have any questions or comments for Randy or myself today, give us a call. Randy Miles is going to be on with me today from Blue Bonnet. And we're going to be talking about stress. Real quick, though, before I join with Randy, as you know, October is our 45th year in business. It's our anniversary. We celebrate it all month long. And so today and tomorrow are the very last days of some of the different companies that have given us line drives. For example, like Life Extension, Blue Bonnet, Nature's Way. So you have 2 days to take advantage of some of these different companies' line drives. So make sure that you do. There's some great sales. And stock up now. That's the best time, one of the best times to do that. Also, each one of these companies have donated product to us that we made baskets. So I think we have like 15 or 17 baskets up there that we're giving away. And all you have to do is put your name and telephone number in. You do not have to purchase anything. Just stop into the store, put your name and telephone number, put it in a little box. And then on Friday, we will be picking the winners of the different baskets, and then we'll give you a call. So make sure you sign up for those free baskets giveaways. And they're very nice baskets. And I want to thank all the companies that have donated product to us to make these baskets with. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it as far as that will go. And we're going to be talking, like I said, we're going to be talking about stress today, holiday stress in particular. And it's hard to believe that we are at that point already that we're talking about the holidays and, the stress that, is brought on by the holidays. So, some of you may want to go, oh, I don't want to talk about this yet. And believe me, I understand, but it's here and it's coming and we're all starting to deal with it already. You see in the different grocery ads, turkeys being advertised, pumpkin for pumpkin pie and all these different things. So the holidays are here. So the stress is already starting. So that's what Randy and I are going to be talking about today. But listen, if you have something else that you want to ask us, feel free. Give us a call today at 724-438-4593. We will be more than happy to try to answer it for you. And if we cannot, I will make sure I get the answer for you. And you can contact me up at the store and I will give you the answer. Okay. Hey, Randy, how's it going?
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you for being on with me today. Very much appreciate it. I've been doing the shows pretty much on my own here the last few weeks, which is okay. But I really like the talking back and forth. It's I enjoy that part of doing the radio show. So thank you so much for being on with me today.
Well, I'm happy that you asked. I'm happy to be here.
Well, good. So I was telling the listeners that, it's hard to believe that we are at that point already of the holidays, talking about the holidays, the upcoming holidays, and the ads, having the turkeys and all of this stuff already being advertised, at different sales and so forth. And it is a stressful time, and for some people it can be really stressful.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't seen anything like that.
Oh, I mean, you could go into any major store and it's all Christmas. It's like, wait, there is such a thing as Thanksgiving. Do you people know that there's Thanksgiving? Could you throw up a turkey or something? But no, it's all Christmas. It's all Christmas trees and, yeah.
I started seeing Christmas stuff like at least last month.
Oh,
and of course, Halloween stuff too, and Thanksgiving. I mean, they kind of like blend Thanksgiving and Halloween together.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's one long 2 months of Thanksgiving, I guess, is what it is nowadays. But yeah, like you said, this year has flown by, and it is here. And it's not just the stress of the holidays and family, and also the stress of all the foods we normally like to partake in that we don't eat most of the year, but during this season, why not? It's
right.
It puts a little stress on the system too, though.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, all of the goodies from pretty much right before Halloween, because you get all of that Halloween candy if you have children or grandchildren, and you take them trick-or-treating, so you're getting all of this candy, and then you move in to Thanksgiving, and you get all of those baked goods. I mean, the turkey is great. The vegetables that people make with the holiday meal are fantastic. But when you look at all the baked goods that go with it, that's a lot, of foods that we don't normally eat. And then you move into Christmas, and good Lord, I think we could open up our own bakery when it comes to that time. I mean, it's amazing.
It is, and we're doing that, and we're not spending as much time outside. So that's, we're eating more calories. We're not, it's colder, so we're not being as active, and then on top of that, the stress of if you're having family or you're traveling to go see family, and for Thanksgiving, and then then you turn around the next month and you got gifts you gotta buy, and for your loved ones and all that, and then you got to get the bill in January. So
yeah, and then you have this stupidity of our government, with things being shut down. So there's people out there that aren't getting paychecks. So that's really even increasing the stress on people. So it's like we don't have enough stress. We got to deal with that kind of idiocy also. But what? Let me ask you. Well, you made a very good point. We're not outside, so most of the time we wait till January to make those New Year's resolutions, when actually we probably should be making them now, since we're not outside. Of getting more exercise, maybe joining a gym. Or just start doing maybe some exercise at home, yoga, whatever. I mean, some of these things you can do at home. You don't have to join a gym, but we should probably make that resolution now and not wait.
Yeah, without a doubt. And in fact, that's actually when I tell people the best time to start is before, because it does moderate a lot of things, obviously, not just, gaining weight or whatever, but, working out or being active helps with the psyche, helps with the stress levels that we're having, and that's a great outlet. Like you said, what was a study just recently that longer walks are better instead of short walks, and I think that's if you could take an hour a day for yourself in general, any time of the year, especially now, and do something you enjoy that requires movement. I mean, that's only going to benefit you, and doing it now, it's easier if you think about it, because it's going to help with the stress and everything that's going on the next couple months.
Yeah, it's so funny because I think, too, then it becomes a lifestyle thing. If you really say, this is what I'm going to do and stick to it. And, that includes diet, I think, too, Randy, because, yes, we're going to have those baked goods. We're going to have that candy at Halloween. But I think you just have to be a little more strict with yourself to say, okay, I can have some of that, but I still want to maintain this really good diet because I don't want to put on 10 or 15 pounds over the winter. And a lot of people, unfortunately, do because of the lack of exercise and the lack of restraint, I think, from eating the wrong foods over the winter.
That's true, and you also think about it a little bit deeper, and you go, well, if you're putting stress on your digestive system, you remember we were talking about that gut-brain axis, that causes stress for your brain, and if your brain's stressed out, that causes stress for your digestive system.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of two-tiered during the season. You're probably eating more foods that generally, you don't eat throughout the year, which is fine, that's called the holidays for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And, that could put stress on the brain, too, and then the brain puts stress on the digestive tract, so they're very much, related. And so, you can actually focus on digestion this time of year, trying to get your gut healthy, you're trying to get your fiber up, and then that'll inherently also help the stress on your brain, and then focusing on things like anything that helps moderate stress, like you said, activity, but also supplements. That'll also take some of the stress off your digestive system, too. So you can encompass all these things. And like you said, now's the time because, 21 days to create a healthy habit. Mm-hmm. And that puts you right around Thanksgiving. And by then you're like, okay, I'm gonna indulge a little, but I'm not going to overindulge. And that'll help push you through the seasons, but Thanksgiving and Christmas, and by the time January comes around, everyone's in this panic, and you'll be like, "Hey, I'm actually pretty good. I started I started the end of October." So.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question: when you're dealing with, like you said, we're overindulging, and I know we're going to talk about stress. We're going to talk about some supplements for stress, but is there any supplements that somebody can use to help them not overindulge, like diet type supplements?
There's a lot of things. I mean, that lots of different ways you can do it. So let's say digestive wise. Let's go with a probiotic, for instance. That we were talking about Cerebiome, which is 2 specific strains that actually helps bring anxiety down, and takes about 8 weeks or so. So now is a good time to start doing that, taking a good bacteria, not only help for your digestive health, but also for the stress, the anxiety, those sorts of things. Increasing fiber. Fiber makes you feel more full, and also good fibers feed that good bacteria in your system.
Now, you would take fiber, not to interrupt you, but you would use, if you're going to use fiber for that purpose, you wouldn't want to use it before the meal, though, right? To make you feel full so that you don't eat quite as much?
Yeah, that's the perfect reason for it. I think do you remember konjac, or it's also called glucomannan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was popular forever. It's perfect this time of year. And just so your listeners out there, glucomannan or konjac is a fiber that expands when it's subject to water. So when you take it before a meal, it expands your stomach, and now you feel more full. So you're going to have less tendencies to eat more food. So that's a great example of a fiber, and of course sun fiber is great too. But I'm sure you've got glucomannan, and a lot of people forget about it, but it's a perfect time of year to use that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were, on a roll, and I cut you right off. I'm sorry.
No. I'm glad you said so, because I wouldn't have remembered that one, and that one's easy to forget sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as other supplements for weight loss, Citramax has been around forever, which is Garcinia, and Garcinia actually promotes satiety, which means you feel more content with your food. You don't feel like you need to overeat. So that's a great one. I'm also a big fan of chromium. Chromium helps, kind of moderate that insulin release. So you're not getting those highs and lows in your blood sugar. You're keeping it more consistent and constant. And then another little trick too is to add 5-HTP.
Oh,
You can add a
okay.
little 5-HTP and chromium because that'll raise serotonin levels. And when you raise serotonin levels, your appetite goes down. So those are just a few things I'm just throwing out there, especially that you can start now. So, yeah, you indulge, but you don't overindulge.
Yeah. And if you use the 5-HTP and it deals with the brain and the chromium deals with the sugar, that's a great combination. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and then like I was saying, the probiotic too, because most of your serotonin, funny enough, is made in your digestive system.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. It's like 90%. And so you're releasing that serotonin, which is making you less hungry.
Yeah. Great. That's terrific. Okay. So when we go and we think about stress now, some of the things I think people need to realize, though, is you need to do some deep breathing. Sometimes stress is exactly that. But then also learn to say no, because sometimes we put more stress on ourselves just because we can't say no. And then just don't overdo things. A lot of people go crazy. Like I know someone in particular right now that she's washing her walls down and doing everything for the holidays. And I'm like, you're just absolutely crazy. I'm not going to all that, and she's like, oh no, it's got to be done, so she's really stressing herself out. But I think those are some of the steps that some people just need to do. But when you're still stressed, there's so many different supplements that can help with stress and anxiety and so forth. What would you suggest for some people to maybe try?
Oh, man, there's so many good ones. I mean, I'm a huge fan of GABA.
Okay.
And GABA and theanine together, I mean, obviously they help relax you. They help the brain calm down.
Now, GABA, just for the listeners' purpose, Randy, GABA is one of those amino acids that deal with the neurotransmitters in the brain.
Exactly right. So when you have high glutamic acid, that's when it's excitatory. Your brain is active. It's thinking. It's those neurons are firing. And the opposite of that is GABA. It helps calm the brain down. And so that's one thing you can use like even during the day, but it's great like right before bedtime because it's relaxing the brain. Because a lot of us, especially this time of year, we're just going to sit there and go through our list of things that we need to do the next day, and our mind's just going and going. And so GABA is a great way to calm that down specifically, and then adding a little theanine to that also. I always tell people theanine is like taking a really deep breath and just relaxing and focusing on your breath, a lot like kind of like yoga. So the combination works really well, and I think you're a pretty big fan of those too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those. And there's so many people that you're so right. They go to bed and, one of the first things they tell me when they say, I don't know, do I have, insomnia? I don't know. I just can't shut my brain off. And GABA just happens to be one of those things that's so good at doing that. And most people absolutely love it once they try it at bedtime. They're just like, this is the wonder supplement for me because I'm actually sleeping now because whatever I was thinking about is gone till the morning, and that works really well.
That's why people like dark chocolate so much because it's really high in those amino acids that are relaxing, that release serotonin, and also it's really high in magnesium. So a lot of times when you're craving chocolate, you're actually craving relaxation and magnesium. So that's something, that's how your body actually works, cravings. A lot of times those foods like that, the high chocolate count, cocoa, or the cow count, is really rich in minerals. And so that's what your body's actually craving, is those minerals. And you know how great minerals, magnesium, calcium, all that is at nighttime. It helps relax everything. So if you don't sleep, you don't repair. We've talked about that before.
Yeah. Hey, now let me ask you a question though. When it comes to magnesium, there's so many different magnesiums out there. MIT did those great, studies on magnesium 3 and 8. Would that be the one that you would probably recommend for somebody that is dealing with stress, or maybe a combinational magnesium would be a better supplement that somebody should look at if they're dealing with, stress?
I kind of look at the first thing is if someone's taking magnesium or not. I usually start there. Or why are they taking magnesium? Digestion, that's a whole other thing. But as far as good magnesium, obviously the chelated magnesium, magnoglycinate is great. The combinations can be good too. I've seen a few out there that I do like. Mm-hmm. But the advantage to the Mag 3 and 8 is not only getting the magnesium, but the magnesium is passing that blood-brain barrier. It's increasing magnesium in the brain, and that's relaxing as itself as is. But then you get all those amazing studies from MIT for, cognition, for recall, brain age, 8-week study. In fact, start now. By the time January comes around, you're going to be your brain's going to be 9 years younger.
And I'm sure there's a lot of us that need that.
Yeah, you want to start the year right. 9 years younger, the study said 9 years brain age average decrease. So you start now, you can already be smarter by the first of the year. That'd be a good resolution right there. Make better choices.
Let's get on it, people. Let's go. Magnesium 3 and 8. 9 years our brain will be 9 years younger. I think I'll start it today.
So yeah, and of course magnesium's important with so many other things, with muscle and muscle repair and all that. And another one that came up the other day was creatine. We keep hearing about creatine and all these different studies other than just muscle preservation. Uh-huh. The studies are suggesting that creatine actually helps not only protect your body from stress, but actually helps you respond to it better.
Oh.
And so there's another good thing about creatine that's coming out. It's amazing. There's been like 300 studies just recently, and there's just so much good literature coming out on that. Published literature, from 2 to 5 grams. So you're not talking about these crazy amounts, these 20 grams. I've been hearing, more is always better when it comes to social media. The study suggests 2 to 5. 2 to 5 is the range people should be in. I think after that, you're just you're taking too much.
So is creatine being shown to help with brain activity?
No, it has to do with helping it respond to stress, not only protecting you from stress, okay, but also helping you deal with stress better. Kind of like we were talking about the stress formula, like ashwagandha uh-huh. and all those other great things. That they helps you see stress, but it helps you respond to it better, so you're not overreacting to it. You're not getting those huge pushes of cortisol out there. You see the stress is there, but you're able to handle it better. So yeah, creatine's kind of showing those same kind of possible, the literature suggesting that's some of the things that it's doing. And then, I'm a huge fan of our stress formula. 2 or 3 of those a day, you'll still know there's stress, but you'll respond to it so much better. So big fan of that. And that also helps with digestion, if you think about it too, because that gut feeling, if you're stressed out, that's your digestion telling you, it's talking to you.
Well, we talked before, and I know the listeners probably have heard it 1,000 times. When we're dealing with stress, the adrenals really take an impact when you're under, stress on a constant basis, a chronic stress situation. So the nice thing about that stress release is it has the rhodiola in it, it has the ashwagandha in it. Those things, and the L-theanine specifically, to help the adrenals. So it is a great formula for that. Would you recommend the people also kind of try to eliminate caffeines if they're under those big stress situations?
I mean, it just kind of depends again on the source of caffeine. If you're talking about green tea, if you're talking about coffee, that caffeine's a lot different. If you're talking about a Red Bull, that Red Bulls are never going to be healthy.
So those over-the-counter things that they're getting at convenience stores that are really high in this like 200 milligrams of caffeine per serving or whatever, those is what they really need to avoid.
Yes, definitely, because generally speaking, someone who drinks those, they're not drinking just one a day, they're drinking 2, sometimes 3 a day.
Yeah.
And, your adrenals are what help you deal with stress also. And if you do that much caffeine, you're going to basically nuke your adrenals. They're not going to function very well. And that's one of the things that's important for you to respond to stress. So definitely not. But, talking about green tea, that there's natural caffeine in there. There's natural things in there to help you relax. It's for metabolism. So green tea is a great way to go. Pill form is obviously, stronger, but making yourself some green tea is good too. But yeah, over-caffeinating, obviously, that's never going to be a good thing.
Okay. How about, when you're looking at somebody that's under stress, I always like the omega-3s also. The anti-inflammatory response that it has, helping with the DHA, with the brain, and so forth. I just like omega-3s in all situations, but I think they can be very helpful too when it comes to stress.
Yes, omega-3s, are essential in our system. A lot of people just do not get enough omega-3s. Obviously, fish is a source of it, but there's also your nuts and seeds, flax, and all kinds of other things too. But those good fats, they're there for a reason. They're to protect the brain. They protect the heart. So when it comes to helping you with stress, not per se, but protecting you from stress, absolutely. Especially from all that oxidative stress and all those toxins that we're taking in, and especially like during the holidays, eating some things we shouldn't, and that happens. It's fine, but protecting against that definitely. And omega-3s, there's too many studies to ignore it. That's definitely a top 5 for everybody to take.
I always recommend too, Randy. I'm not sure if you do. I would imagine you probably do too, but I always recommend to people look at essential oils also. There's so many of them: lemon balm, lemon, lavender, lang lang. Some of these essential oils are just so good for stress. And, just putting some of them in some of the diffusers or, and just letting them go throughout your house. And they even make those little diffuser boxes things now that you can put in your vehicles. And, I love essential oils for that.
I'm a big fan of them too. I use them at my house quite a bit. I put them on my towels when I get them out of the dryer. So I put bergamot and citrus on them. And then you can also put like lavender and some of the more relaxing things on your pillowcases. Right when you get them out of the dryer, you can actually spray them on there if you want. Obviously they come in a little dropper, but you can put it in a bottle with a little water and spray them on there. So think about it. You get out of the shower and you put a towel on your face, because you're drying off, and you smell bergamot and citrus, and it's uplifting, and you're like, oh, what a great way to start the day after a shower, wake you up.
That's a great idea.
I love it. I've done that for years. And then at bedtime, the opposite. You lay down in bed and you get that smell of lavender or anything that's relaxing. Lemon is surprisingly relaxing for me. I don't know why. But you get those scents, and scents basically have an emotion to them. If you smell something bad, it's very off-putting. If you smell something good, it's very engaging. And so I love essential oils. And we're not talking about expensive either.
No.
They last a while too. So I'm sure you've got a lot of really good good ones there. And frankincense myrrh, another one that's great.
Yeah, listen, we have a lot of people that do frankincense and ginger, and they mix those together, and they get really good response with like inflammation, neuropathy. I can tell you how many people use it for those. They mix it with like castor oil or coconut oil or something like that, and apply it and get fantastic results. I love essential oils. When it comes to, different topical and aromatherapy type ways. Never heard of the towel thing before, but I'm definitely going to do that. I love that idea. And bergamot and citrus, that's a great combination.
Yeah, good way to wake up, Yeah. You woke up out of the shower, so at least kind of gets you motivated and happy. It's a good mood for the day.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So everybody out there, think about that for a holiday gift idea. Some new towels and a bottle of bergamot and a bottle of maybe wild orange or lemon or citrus of some sort. Citrus Bliss by doTERRA. Oh my, that would be a great gift right there. Keep that in mind. What do you think about kava kava? Oh, sorry. Good.
That was no. As soon as you said that, I was like, that is a really good idea. Actually, I already have like 3 people that popped up in my head. Like, oh my gosh, nobody ever buys themselves new towels, so that's which is good. And then you give them those little scents and tell them how to use it, and they do that, and they're like, hey,
yep,
there's something to this.
Yeah,
that's a great idea. You might have to carry towels in your store.
Go to the dollar store and buy one of those little empty plastic bottles and make your own formula, So, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's such a great idea. I'm definitely going to do that. I have quite a couple in my mind, too, though. It's like, that's exactly what you're getting this year. So that's fantastic. See, 2 good brains. They work really well. What do you think of kava?
Kava's been around for a long time. The thing with kava is that I kind of get a mix between it. Some people respond well to it, and some people have no response, and some people don't respond to it at all. As far as negatively. But for the most part, it's one of those that I don't always start on first.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those, hey, maybe add some kava to what you're doing and see how you respond, see if it's relaxing for you or not. Because that one's kind of hit and miss from what I've seen, and I'm not trying to bias it. It's
right.
Just from what I've seen. And then holy basil, for some reason, is kind of in that same boat. See, I didn't respond good to kava, and I don't respond good to holy basil, which is really odd.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do. But then I respond great to rhodiola, theanine, GABA, ashwagandha. Those I respond really well to. And I know, lemon balm falls in that, Melissa too. But
right.
That kava's been around a long time. Do you have the tea, by the way?
I don't have the tea. I have the tincture.
You have the tincture, yeah. I would start with the tincture, and then if you make yourself a tea at night, add it to that, and try it that way. But some people love it. I'm just not one of those people that don't respond to it. So
you said that you respond very well to like rhodiola and stuff. So adaptogenic herbs work real well for you.
Yeah, they do. They help this even kill. They even kill for me. They if you can't stress too much or too little, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, hey, listen, I hear you. I understand. Now, I have some people that love valerian, but I particularly am not fond of valerian. To me, it smells like rotten socks in a bottle. It's just, but it works. It really does work. Martha uses valerian all the time, and she's like, oh, you're silly in the head. It doesn't, I'm okay with it. But I'm like, okay, whatever. But I remember my dad, he got hurt at work and had back surgery and so forth, and he was using valerian. Man, and I can remember just like when I was a kid, he'd open that bottle up and it was like, what is that smell? Valerian just has a toxic smell to me, so I can't even get it past my lips to even try it more than once. I think I've only tried it once because of that. But it's a very good nervine, and some people, it responds really well to it, especially to help them with sleep, and that's how Martha uses it. So if you're under stress, that's probably a good type of a nervine to use if you're not sleeping well, right?
It is, and some people like the smell of sweat socks. I agree with you. Not fond of the smell of it, but I will say this: it does work really well to help you sleep. If for some reason, I've used it in the past. It's not my go-to, but it is something I used in the past, and you do sleep pretty deep. I mean, it definitely works well. But yeah, it's not the most pleasant smell.
No.
But if you sleep good, I mean, I guess you can get over it too, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, listen, if you get good sleep out of it, then I guess you can get over it, but I couldn't get past that one time. The hormones play a major role when it comes to stress. I know that women in menopause, postmenopausal, when those hormones are out of balance, progesterone in particular, stress seems to affect them even more so. So do you recommend that people should maybe pay attention to hormonal levels as well if they're having some stress issues?
Yes. Here's the thing on that. I mean, it's just that there's so many different variables for men and women, and also age.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone should be aware of where their hormone levels are. I do always encourage people to get your hormone levels checked. I mean, it's good to know those things. It's good to have blood work. It's good something to compare. But yes, very much so. I mean, if you think about it, even in men, if you're very estrogenic, you're going to have a tendency of having more fat deposits. Mm-hmm. And so that is part of it. And since women are estrogen driven, it makes them it's harder for them to sometimes lose weight. Not all of them, but it definitely does have something to do with that. But getting your muscle tone up is what's important, not only for weight, is keep maintaining weight, but also for hormone balance too. Because even in men, that's where you hold all your testosterone. Is in the big muscle groups, and if they're not active, you're not going to have good hormone balance. And women are going to be the same way. So it is something that.
I just think we react. We react. I mean, I consider myself postmenopausal now, and I think that we react differently to things now than we did when we were 25 and maybe high on estrogen. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree 100% to that.
Yeah, and I think men are the same way. When they're high on testosterone at 25 is way different than when they're 50 and they're low in testosterone. They deal, I think, differently with stress situations the same way. So, I just think that's one of those issues, like you said, that should probably be addressed. And find out, where those hormonal levels are, especially if you're having specific problems handling stress, dealing with stress, flying off the handle maybe too easily because of stress in your life or in your job or whatever. I think sometimes that those things do play a role, but they're kind of ignored and never looked at. I don't think so.
Yeah, it does get missed a lot, and that's true. I mean, and what I'll add to that is is also how you eat too. I mean, we all are very familiar with the word hangry, and people know that. I mean, they know if you're falling asleep after lunch, you know your meal was too heavy, or you waited too long, or you didn't snack enough during the day, and if you're biting someone's head off over something simple, and you're hungry, same thing. You have to take accountability for how you what you eat and all that. We all do. But looking at the big picture of it, if like we talked about, is finding something to be active with, especially now before the new year. and finding time for yourself so you can de-stress, checking your blood work before the beginning of the year, so you're ahead of the game per se, instead of waiting to this arbitrary January. No, actually, time right now is a good time to go in and go ahead and go to the health food store and say, hey, I want to I want to get my sleep going better. I want to moderate my stress better. Let me just start there. And then, or do I want to hit my digestion? Do I want that to be better? Now is actually perfect time to do it before it's just like, hey, ignore it. And then the season comes and you stress out and then you kind of see the after effects. So, it's time to do it now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually. Like I said, instead of waiting till January 1st to do these New Year's resolutions, we should be actually looking at it now, before these holidays actually hit big time, and make those resolutions now so that we eat right. Maybe we do get those female panels, male panels done, good blood work to see where you're at. What do you need? What does your body need? I think it's the same thing too, Randy, is when you're dealing with, like I had a lady come in the other day, and she said, she was saying different things was going on, and everything kind of pointed like to a really good multivitamin would probably be something you should really consider. And she goes, oh, I take one. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, where do you get it from? Oh, the dollar store. I said, I can guarantee you it's not a really good multivitamin. I said, so, I said, I'm just telling you, I think maybe you should spend a couple more dollars, get a really good one. If you get it here, great. But what you're doing is not what you're needing. Your body's needing other things. But I think a really good multi for a lot of people, because this is what I found with older people, and I'm not sure with you if you're dealing with them, is that they eat like birds, just wee little small, or I had one lady, she ate one meal a day, she's 79 years old, and I said, you can't do that. Your body can't do that anymore. Your body needs nutrition. So, she has all these things going on. You need to eat, lady. You need to eat. So I think a lot of times a good multivitamin is the first step for some people when it comes to managing not only stress but just managing their health.
I completely agree. I mean, because a multi is covering all the things that you don't normally eat, because we've talked about it before. You're going to eat a lot of the same foods. You don't really, get out of your box very much, and a multi is going to cover all those, gaps, I guess, of things you're not eating. And getting a vitamin at like the dollar store and all that is kind of the equivalent says, yeah, take a multi. It's like, hey, did you have lunch today? It's like, yeah, I went by Taco Bell. It's like, it was like, okay, that's not exact, though, that might not be the best thing you can do, especially when you can go in and get an organic, whole food, chelated minerals, the best B vitamins, all that, and you're talking about $15 a month for a vitamin like that. And it's going to help with all those things that you aren't eating on a normal basis. And I want to touch on one thing real quick. You were talking about the elderly woman that in her 70s, she doesn't eat very often, and a lot of times I hear it's because they don't have an appetite. Mm-hmm. If you don't have it in your store, they sell alfalfa pills.
Yeah, I have them.
I think alfalfa pills will actually make you hungry. And so it's really great for those elderly customers that don't have a big appetite. Give them some alfalfa pills. It'll actually make them hungry.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah, because I was like, you can't, you're 79, you can't go without food. Your body needs that nutrition to just repair and so forth. You can't do that. And she's like, well, I just want to eat one meal a day. I'm like, well, that's just not the way to do it. You can't do that. I don't know. What can you say, Randy? Sometimes you just, give the suggestion and they have to follow it, or not follow it, whichever. Is there anything, we got about a minute left, is there anything that you want to close up with for people that dealing with stress and holiday stress, and suggestions that maybe that you give some of your clients?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm going to tell people is to think about November as Nowvember, N-O-W, Nowvember. So now do something now. Start in November for your stress that's coming up, or if you have weight loss things you want to focus on. All those things, even gifts, even the fun stuff. So go into the health food store. There's a lot of things there. Ask questions. That's literally why we're in health food stores, to answer questions, and you get the benefit of all the years of working with customers and all the knowledge that they've passed on to us. November.
Thank you, Randy. And I'll talk to you next week.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thanks again. All right. Have a great weekend.
Have a good week.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. Don't forget about the towel idea. I think it's great.
Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Day 30 of the government shutdown and SNAP benefits will lapse on Saturday. Maryland Governor Wes Moore.
We are responding to the federal government's dereliction of its duty by declaring a state of emergency inside the state of Maryland.
Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey.
Right now, the USDA is sitting on $23 billion in a contingency fund that could be used to pay these